call to order this meeting of the Warren County School Board for Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is to accept or modify the agenda. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I would move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Motion carries. Community participation. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Madam Chairman, I move that the consent agenda be approved
Is there a second?
as distributed. I'm sorry.
Second. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Reports. Instruction report, CTE welding, Mr. Fox. You look a lot better than Mr. Fox. Sorry.
Madam Chairman, Board, I'm extremely happy actually to be here to introduce the person that will deliver our instructional report this month. My bruises are healing a little bit. This was a fight. You all backed us all the way, and we can never say thank you enough. But I have with me Mr. Brandon Moore. He is our full-time welding instructor. I will tell you that our classes are very full, and the students are learning a lot. And I'm going to turn over the instructional report to him to share with you some of the things that he has going on at Blue Ridge Technical Center. Brandon?
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, my name is Brandon Moore, and I just want to take this moment to thank the board and everybody involved for hiring the full-time welding instructor here in Warren County. I'm a graduate of Randolph-Macon Academy here in Front Royal, and this felt like the natural home for me to land, so I appreciate this opportunity. I have put together a little slideshow and just a brief history of my experience with welding. I was in the industry for over 20 years before I started teaching, and I've been teaching a little over 5 years now, so I have an extensive amount of experience in the industry. I worked at the Pentagon multiple times, NASA facilities on Wallops Island, ornamental iron and structural iron work. So I have a broad range of skills to teach to our students here in the county. So that being said, I'd like to start by opening up with just some slides from the Department of Labor. And it's going to tell you that welders, the industry of welding is expected to grow 6% over the next 10 years. And with welding, the skills we teach these students can transfer from, if a student receives a job in the automotive industry, he can take those skills if there's a downturn in that industry and transfer those same skills to structural welding or the gas line industry. Once you know the skills of welding, cutting, they are transferable in different job sets. So, and also with the aging infrastructure of our roadways, bridges, buildings, there is a need for welders in the United States. So, if we could go to the next slide. So, with no job experience right out of high school, the median salary for a student out of high school with no experience is $40,000, a little over $40,000. That is a good salary for a student out of high school. I don't believe I made that much money straight out of high school. So, and that's going to grow. The number that you see here, 400,000, just over 400,000. That's the jobs in the United States of America right now. So that'll grow 6% over the next 10 years. So it showed that that was on average for with all other occupations, carpentry, electrical, and everything else. So it's a good skill to teach our children here in the county. It really is. So at Blue Ridge Tech, we teach oxyacetylene cutting and welding. And as an instructor, I have a strong emphasis on safety. I can't tell you how many times I've been to a job site or a farm and someone has a set of torches with no regulators, have pressures at the wrong settings. So when I teach students, there is a huge emphasis on them knowing how to set that torch, how to perform burning and welding exercises, and how to do it like it's an extension of their hand. Excuse me. Next slide, please. So, as many of you know, it was a shared position last year, and I was hired about a year and a half ago, and I would go back and forth from Page County to Warren County and teach the students of both counties. But last semester here in Warren County, I saw a need for a rack for the consumables and steel that we purchased. So by leaving all these things on the floor of the shop, you create a trip hazard. So the students sat down and they designed this rack. We all collaborated on what we were going to do. In the end, we built this steel rack to house our steel and aluminum products. So I'm proud to tell you that I don't do the welding on these things. The students perform the welds, and that will hold a house up. This thing is strong, so by the end of the semester, they are skilled individuals. They really are. So I am proud of that project right there. Next slide, please. Students kind of demonstrate their own creativity too as well. This student created this chair, and he took that home with him. And in the future, maybe we need to get students to pay for the material, but I donated this material to this individual because he brought the idea to me. I had this steel left over. He welded it, and I'm telling you, he was proud of that thing. He really did a great job. This is a welding 1 student with no skills when he came into my program, and he built that thing and took it home with him, and he really did a good job throughout the year. Some students show a more artistic side where the chair was more practical. This was a log that a student created on a couple of sawbucks with an axe in it. And there's money to be made with artistic welding. I tell you, a lot of people are making a lot of money with that. So when I see a student and he or she has an idea and they prefer more artistic rather than an AWS certification, you know, we address that and we let them go in the direction they want to go. Next, please. So with our welding program, all students complete the OSHA 10-hour program. So they're going to leave with an OSHA 10 card. That's one credential. The other is the AWS welding certification. It's not guaranteed that they're going to pass that certification, but last year we had a high success rate. I believe it was 11 passes out of the 12 that took the test. So we only had 1 fail it. I'll hopefully do better this year and have a 100% pass rate on that. In the future, we're looking at how to better the program, and I see the need for new books to teach out of. I'm trying to push for an NCCER curriculum, and I have obtained all the credentials in order to teach this curriculum, and that would allow us to achieve a 3rd credential for our students. They would complete the program with 3 credentials, which would allow them to really look good on a resume. It really would. So the welding program at Blue Ridge Tech has a high-definition plasma cutting machine, and last semester we created this sign for the Technical Center. It's the state of Virginia there, and you upload files into the computer and then it automatically cuts out with plasma cutting technology. The potential for this machine is very good. I mean, we could create revenue for our program with this machine by creating products to sell to the community or whoever would be interested. So I'm really looking forward to achieving, you know, or diving into that machine a little more because Right now, I'm teaching 2 welding 1 semesters. So next semester, I teach a welding 2 group, and we're going to dive into that machine a lot better. In addition, we have a virtual reality welding simulator. This machine teaches a beginning welder how to strike an arc without the hazards of fumes and infrared light. So it grades the student on the way they perform a weld, gives them feedback, and doesn't cost us any money. So before I put them in the welding booth, we train them on this, and that way we burn up less consumables. You know, it's less money out of the budget. So this was a great addition to our program, and the students really seem to like it. A new addition to the program are auto darkening welding helmets. We just got these in last week. So, like I said, I'm big on safety, keeping our students safe. I want them to leave our classroom as better or the same as when they came in. So, when they are walking around the shop and another student strikes an arc, if they have these helmets on, they do not get any infrared light from that arc. When they're in the welding booths, they can find the weld location with the electrode, and it would just help a beginning welder progress much further. They're very inexpensive, and it's a great addition to our program, and I'm excited about adding those to the program here. So, as I said, proper fume extraction is important. Here you see a student, I just took this photo this week. He's welding, and the fumes are going in the fume extraction device, which will be filtered and dumped back into the environment. So you see an arm up next to this student here. That arm is to hold plates so he can perform out-of-position welds, vertical, overhead, and which are essential in the industry out here. So where this system works great for flat welding, if I put a plate in the out-of-position device there, the fumes do not come down to it. Even if I bend that up, it's just not ideal. So I showed you this slide just to kind of give you an idea of improvements that we plan to make, because with a welding 2 group, we're going to need to further those skills. Where this is fine for welding 1 students, I'm looking forward to taking what we have and refining it, adding to it, and creating a better workspace. I really am. And I'm going to end tonight with just a photo of a project that we did last year. These are students that I had in my welding 2 group last year. You know, those smiles speak for themselves. I tell you, when you teach a student how to use a torch and strike an arc and create things, and they cut that American flag by hand using a plasma cutter. And then Mr. Abel, the electricity teacher, he painted it for us on his own time, and then we hung it up in our facility there. We say the pledge to that flag every day. So, you know, these kids take a pride in ownership in projects that we can create, and I really look forward to furthering this welding program. I really do. So, that being said, do I have any questions from any one of you?
You had 12 students last year?
No, ma'am. I had 15.
Okay, and welding 1 and 2?
2 decided not to take the certification, but actually it might have dropped to 14. That was a group of welding 2 students you see here. 5 of those are welding 2. The student on the far left was a welding 1 student, and then I had another group of 8 or so. And that's the program I walked into. Since then, the enthusiasm has increased, and right now I'm teaching 1 class of 10, which is a full class because I have 10 welding booths, and 1 class of 9 because I lost a student to auto. He liked auto a little better, so.
Yeah.
But the enthusiasm's there, and it's going to grow from here. My second semester, I have a welding 2 group, and that group, I believe, is standing at 7 right now, and a lot of students that I'm teaching right here in my welding 1 group are talking about signing up for my welding 2 group second semester.
Is there a potential or a need for even a 3rd semester?
I'm not sure we'd have enough time because of the amount needed to teach these, you know, each area properly. I think you have to have a certain amount of hours for each welding 1 and welding 2 designation, which is 140 hours, I believe. It might even be 240 for welding 2. But welding 3 is a potential down the road where we could teach pipe welding and just more extensive skills for the students that excel. But you know, the growth potential is there, and the enthusiasm is there too. So
That's good to see. Thank you. Any other comments?
I have just an observation, and Mr. Moore, I congratulate you on your enthusiasm, your background. I ran into somebody last week, had no idea who you were. I hate to say that, but they were bragging about you. And I was like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? So I pulled up our meeting,
Agenda.
and there it was. So I think you're dead on teaching these people trades, teaching them the safety. I think your ideas of that plasma cutter making things is phenomenal, and you
Yeah.
could. And I don't know Mr. Drescher or Mr. Fox who could help facilitate that, or if we can even do it as a school. Before came here tonight, I had another function I had to go to, and I met a young man by the name of Gabriel Williams, no relation. He's out at Happy Creek Industrial Park, and he has contracts all over, from what he was telling me, some type of metal fabrication. And I don't know if there's any way he could help us as a partner, or we could help him. You know, maybe these folks could get some type of internship, or, I don't know. I mean, just throwing it out there. It was Williams Brothers Doors, and they make fire doors, and they make cabinets for fire extinguishers. So, I mean, I appreciate everything you said tonight. I think you're just spot on with what you want to do and how you're going about it. You seem very driven, and glad you graduated from RMA, at least you from Warren County. So, thank
I
you for
look
your
forward
time.
to meeting that individual and creating those kind of contacts that would even create a job interview for students that excel in the program. I mean, I would love to create a network of potential, you know, leads for these
Right.
students. So.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, it's great for your program, number one, because you turn out these students that are really inept in what they're doing, and they go to another business here local, and they succeed, and then that person's like, he'll be calling you, or she'd be calling you, going, you got anybody else? You know, that type of thing, and that's what we need and want.
Yes, sir.
I mean, so. that's
thank
all
you,
I
sir.
have. You're welcome. Thank you. I'll get you that name.
Yeah.
And I just-
I'm sorry. Just go ahead. I appreciate the artistic part of it, that, you know, the student can envision something and then create it. I would have never thought about that in welding. So the fact that they can kind of create their own vision is really important. I really appreciate that.
I just wanted to say that I echo one of the things Mr. Williams said about safety. I appreciate that. It was the first thing you said, and I think it's a tribute to you, Ms. Baker, because I know that's the first thing that Devin Smith said to us when he walked in. They've got to learn how to do all this before I'll even let them touch a knife and that kind of thing. It's, you know, it's good to see that safety comes first, and then
Yes, sir.
you expand your skills and work on what you're doing. So I appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nice presentation.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Superintendent report, Mr. Drescher.
All right, thank you very much. Well, we've had a great opening of the school year. Yesterday was our 15th day of school already. We have 5,175 students enrolled. That's down a little bit from what we expected to be, and I really don't have a good answer as to why that is. We have not very many no-shows left to come in, so we just had some people move. Yes. So fall sports are underway with our teams competing on an almost daily basis, and I certainly wish all of our student athletes a fun-filled, safe, and successful season as they get underway. Accreditation reports are out. I'm sure you've seen that. 8 of our 9 schools are accredited. One school, Skyline Middle School, is accredited with conditions, and that's related to scores on several of the subgroups not being in line with the total pass rate in English. So just to give a little information on that. But I believe we have good success with accreditation levels at all of our schools, so I'm very happy about that. Our compensation and classification study, which we've talked about for the last several months, is underway. It started. The firm PayPoint HR is meeting with all staff members this week. In fact, we had meetings yesterday and today and again tomorrow. And they've started their data gathering process, and I really look forward to their findings that will be presented at the end of November. So that's undergoing right now. And finally, I want to congratulate our board members for their awards from the VSBA Association. You have your Academy Award right in front of you. Annually, these awards are given to board members who participate in VSBA events and trainings, and thank you for going and being a part of those. And then I also remind you about the upcoming fall conference in November. That's 14 through 16. So that is it. Unless you have any questions.
Thank you. School board reports. Start with Mr. Williams.
Okay. Well, as Mr. Drescher said, third weekend, seems smooth. I have to give the bus drivers a lot of credit this year. I mean, you could set your watch literally by the bus driver that comes out our way. Every day, 8:33, period. No questions asked. Every evening, 3:50. I mean, so, and the students seem to like them. You know, they're like waving and having a good time. So that's really nice that they enjoy that short ride home and that it's safe. So, thank you. Didn't know you were sitting back there. Next thing is, we got a long road ahead of us. The year's just starting, so Mr. Drescher and his team, please keep up the good work.
Thank you. Mr. Rosen?
Yeah, kind of piggyback with Arnold's comments. I've had several people come to me and say how smooth it appeared and was to start a brand-new school year, and everything seemed to fall in place, and the issues that we thought were going to be major issues, or you all and management and all of our employees, everything did fall in place, and I think that's kudos for all the management group, all of our employees, teachers, everybody associated with the Warren County school system. So I think we all owe them a big thank you, because they're basically, I always said you can't run a hospital without people. I think you got the same issue with the school system. It's tough to run without people, but particularly good people. The only downside I was a little concerned about was the article on a 19-year-old teacher that Jim Wells had evidently tried to have that happen in the past.
No, it just seems that they're all 19 years old.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. McKeithron?
I'll just echo Mr. Rosen, Mr. Williams. It's year started out really good, and everything seems to be running smoothly. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Wells?
I can only add to that, you know, transportation, food service, all of our folks, particularly our staff, our teachers. It's just like Mr. Rosen says, it's just sort of, it started and seems like it's been going for 6 months, as smooth, knock on wood, as it's been so far. One thing I did want to mention is to Mike, you're out there, just if you take back to SEAC, the newsletter that they produce that we get on a regular basis is, you know, full of information, and we really appreciate those. Those are some of the most engaged parents we've got, are the SEAC parents, and they just do a fantastic job. So thank them for what they're doing.
And I looking forward to the fall sports. I've been to a couple of the football games and am enjoying that. And I'm also looking forward to start doing some site visits around the school. I'd hoped to start last week, but got busy with other things. Action agenda. Approval of July 2018 VSBA school board policy updates. Mrs. Shepherd.
Thank you. Mr. Ballantyne told me I only had 3 minutes for this, so I'll try not to read these policies verbatim. In July 2018, VSBA submitted 8 policies for consideration by the Warren County School Board. A chart showing the updated policies has been prepared by staff members noting the proposed changes. The first reading of the changes was August the 1st. The second reading and discussion of the updates to the policies was August 15th. This is the third reading and recommendation for approval of the policy updates. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I think we've all had time to look over everything and hopefully have questions answered prior to tonight. Any comments or questions?
No.
No? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, Madam Chair. I move the July 2018 VSBA policy updates be approved for inclusion in the Warren County Public Schools Policy Manual as recommended by staff.
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Stay where you are. Approval of expenditure over $15,000, food and nutrition services, point-of-sale software, and hardware support package.
Thank you. Approval is requested to renew the enterprise point-of-sale software and hardware package from Data Business Systems for the food and nutrition program. This system is used for in all of our cafeterias. This program automates sales activity, meal and eligibility counts, and provides data for state and federal reports. The software processes cafeteria sales, tracks items sold, generates reports, and provides information on meals purchased. The system allows parents to put money on their students' lunch account through a secure internet connection. Parents are able to monitor what their child has purchased for breakfast or lunch using the online portion of the program. Our school system has been using this product for 15 years. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are you able to tell if parents actually get in and check with their kids, or?
So Sue Ann Fox is the one who administers this program. I don't know if we're able to check to see if people have logged in or not, but we are able to check and see if parents have put money on their student's account, and that happens regularly.
I presume that the E. Wilson Morrison program requires reports to show that we're compliant and that kind of thing. This will keep those stats for us so that we don't have to keep them by hand.
Right, that's correct. Parents from any student at E. Wilson Morrison are able to go onto this program, and they're able to see what their child has ate for breakfast or what their child has ate from lunch. And Sue Ann provided us information yesterday or the day before, and our breakfast and lunch counts have increased percentage-wise from last year to this year, and we're very pleased with that.
That's good. Any other questions?
I have a question, Ms. Shepherd, and I don't know that you can answer it, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, so it's just something that just came to me and we can discuss later on. With this software, will that tie into the Power School app, so you can just go to one place to put money on your child's account for meals? And like I say, I don't.
Right. It doesn't currently tie into the Power School app. They're two separate vendors, and Power School is very particular with who they allow access to their program. But this program does update Power School and show how much money is on a lunch account.
Okay.
So you're able to go into your Power School app and hit like lunch, and it'll show you that you have $3.12 or whatever.
Right.
But it doesn't show what the student has ate.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we could, if it all could be integrated into one, so you just had one place to go to add money and see what the boys have eaten today.
Right. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would, it would. I mean, just
Yeah.
because I was reading this earlier, and I was just wondering if.
Right. One of the other things that Sodexo has launched this year is an app. It's called I'm So Happy app, and it actually keeps track of, you can put in what you had for lunch or breakfast, and it'll tell you your calories, your carbs, your sugars. It'll tell you all of that kind of nutritional information for parents. So, but it doesn't communicate with Power School, but it's a good tool, and I'm sure you'll be hearing about it from Sue Ann, so.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. I move approval to be given to purchase the point-of-sale software and hardware support package from Data Business Systems in the amount of $19,950.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Shepherd.
Thank you.
Vehicle donation, Mr. Mitchell.
Good evening. Rob said I had 10 seconds, so I'm going to go really.
I think you all are all making this up.
No, I think he looks serious.
I stand before you guys this evening asking for you to accept the donation that Warren County Sheriff's Department has offered us for 3 vehicles. This relationship has been a huge benefit to us in the past. We continue to repurpose these vehicles for all kinds of really creative things, but it's something that we wouldn't be able to do without their generosity. And I'm here tonight to ask you to allow us to continue doing that and accepting 3 vehicles.
A motion?
Is there a motion? Sure.
Madam Chairman, I move that the Warren County Public Schools accepts the donation of 3 vehicles from the Warren County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. Vendor approval. Mr. Mitchell.
Next. How long did I get for this one, Rob? I don't remember. Throughout the year, we have several vendors that we spend over $15,000 with, and we'd like to continue to do so. The attached list shows the vendors we use for the 2017-2018 school year. We purchased our fuel from Quarles Petroleum and Mansfield Oil, which is both on a state contract. We will continue to purchase our parts from companies that have the lowest price and meet our needs as they arise. The vendors we would like to request to spend in excess of $15,000 include Quarles Petroleum, Mansfield Oil, Kingfield Bus Company, AutoZone, Donald B. Rice, Highway Motors, Interstate Batteries, Jasper Engine Company, and Napa Auto Parts.
Any questions or comments?
Only one I did not know was Highway Motors, Mr. Mitchell.
Highway Motors is a vendor exclusive, basically for international parts,
Okay.
IC. So what we can't get available from Kingmore, we can actually get out of Winchester.
Okay. That's all I have.
And I know it's way too early to predict, but based on your 17, 18 purchases, do you expect this year to be in line with that?
We don't have a
for most
choice.
of these places?
We really, I mean, our budget's pretty much what it was, so we pretty much have to be. I think we had a little bit of extra money this year given to us, and we put 4 engines in buses this summer. So as soon as we got it, we spent it. So,
That helps them to run a little better,
so
doesn't it?
it does. Well, they go a little further, so. But
The feet. Okay, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion. I move approval be given to spend over $15,000 for transportation-related expenditures for the following vendors: Quarles Petroleum, Mansfield Oil, Kingmore Bus Company, AutoZone, Donald B. Rice, Highway Motors, Interstate Batteries, Jasper Engine Company, and Napa Auto Parts.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Approval of the Sarah Rose Gennari Memorial Scholarship. Mr. Fox.
Good evening. The Sarah Rose Gennari Memorial Scholarship. The Gennari family is establishing a $500 scholarship in memory of their daughter, Sarah Rose. Sarah was a Warren County student in elementary, middle, and high school. Sarah was a member of the Sixers, a Parks and Recs championship basketball team. I was her coach. Sarah participated in multiple sports over the years, such as Little League Baseball, girls softball, but her love was swimming. Sarah was an accomplished swimmer and was an 11-year member of the Dale City Frogs. Sarah was part of the Warren County High School Maroon Mask Theater Troupe and performed various roles. Everything I need to know, I learned in kindergarten. She played Cinderella in The Brothers Grimm, and she was also in Anatomy of Grey. Sarah enjoyed helping others and pursuing her love of music. She was a talented musician. Several times she performed the national anthem at various events. Sarah was a section leader for the Warren County High School choir and was an officer as well. She represented Warren County High School in district chorus. A 4.0 student, Sarah was also selected for induction into the National Honor Society. The successful candidate for the scholarship will have participated in the performing arts, the graphic arts, or band at Warren County High School. I see that Mrs. and Mrs. Gennari are in the audience tonight, and I'd like to thank them for their generosity to our schools. And I would ask that you approve this scholarship.
I had the pleasure of hearing Sarah sing at a Christian Women's Club luncheon a couple of years ago. Beautiful voice. Thank you. Would someone like to offer a motion?
I move that the Sarah Rose Gennari Memorial Scholarship be approved with appreciation and gratitude.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Approval of resolution authorizing superintendent to issue contracts. Mr. Drescher.
Yes, ma'am. This resolution is being introduced to allow the superintendent to offer employment and issue contracts for the approved positions with the approval of the board chairman prior to the board meeting and approving the appointment. This exception is only to be used where a delay in filling the position causes an undue hardship on the division or puts it in a competitive disadvantage for a potential candidate. Such appointments are subject to the confirmation by the entire school board at its next meeting. This resolution shall remain in effect until December 31st, 2018, with the expectation that it will be reintroduced at the organization meeting each year. So I know we had a little event a few weeks ago where we needed to hire a food service person, and we kind of did it through email and did that. So this just kind of keeps that keeps the things moving when we need to in those situations. It's not something that I would anticipate using very often.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion. I move that the resolution authorizing the superintendent to issue employee contracts be adopted as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Is there any further business? No? Meeting adjourned.
All right, thank you.